All right, guys. So I'm going to show you how to make your windows actually look like they're glass and see-through and how to poke holes in your house, right? So I know my house looks a little different than in the last video. And all I did was I removed my windows and then I pulled out one of my windows. And hold on, let me hide my little meeting controls. So this is one of my windows, all right? So this is just one of the windows I had there, and I just pulled it out here, and I'm going to show you guys how to turn this window into this, all right? Which means how to have see-through glass planes inside there, all right? The other thing we need to do is we're going to learn how to poke holes in your house. So if I zoom in, you'll see there's actually a hole in my house here. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that, all right? So first things first, please make sure all your stuff is labeled. So over here, you'll see my roof is labeled, my house space is labeled. It just makes things easier if all of your different objects are labeled. So I'm going to grab my roof and I'm going to hit GZ to move it up because I want to show you guys something. All right, GZ, move it up. So my house right now, I gave it thickness. So here you'll see it actually has some depth. So what you'll need to do is move your roof up, click on your house, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a solidify adjustment. And what the solidify does is it gives it actual like thickness. All right. So I'm just going to add mine again to show you what it does. So here, if you adjust it, it kind of gives the house thickness. All right. And we want to make an inside thickness. All right. Now mine, I already added thickness, so you can't really see it. But you need to add the thickness. So let me just hold on. Boop. So add the thickness, and then what you need to do is to click this little drop-down arrow and click apply, all right? You're basically adding the thickness of your walls, and you need to apply that because that makes it so that we can then poke holes in the walls, right? Okay, so I just want to show you what that looks like. You can put the roof back on. If you want your roof to snap right back where you want it, what you can do is you can turn on the snap, and you can make sure it snaps to edges, right? So then when you grab your roof and hit GZ to move it down, it'll snap to the top of your house. Okay. All right. So first things first, please make sure that your house base actually has a thickness and you apply it. All right. Next, grab one of your windows and move it out so we can mess with it. All right. We're going to do two things. I'm going to get rid of this example one I have. I'm going to move this kind of over out of the way. G, X, get it out of the way over there. Perfect. All right. So last video, you guys made some different materials, okay? So what we want to do is we're going to go object, click off, and go to your materials, and I want you to create a new material. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this material so I can show you guys. Make a new material by clicking add material slot. Click new, right? And then what you're going to do is make a material, call it glass. I'm going to call this glass. And we're going to set it to have kind of glass settings, which you can mess with these different ones. And here it's going to preview what it's going to look like. But we usually don't want any roughness. And you want an IOR setting to be up a little bit. That messes with the shininess. And you want to mess with the alpha. All right. So basically, you're making something that looks like glass. And you can actually Google, and I think this is a great thing for you guys to do, but you can actually Google glass setting for material in Blender, and it'll actually tell you the specific settings that will make it look like glass. So transmission 1, roughness 0, and use an IOR of 1.4 to 1.5. So transmission 0, I think, is what I'm missing. So if I go here, and if I go down to transmission, I'm just going to set this as, what did it say? Transmission 1. So I'm going to put that as 1. There you go. And if we go up here, this is looking more like glass, IOR of 1.5. There we go. That is definitely looking like glass. Roughness 0. And it's on white, but if I wanted a different colored glass, maybe I want like a purpley glass, I'll just move it to a little bit of a purple color. Perfect. All right. So this is this setting now. Okay, this is what this specific glass is. Okay. All right. Moving on. So we have that now as a glass setting. It should. Good, good, good. Okay. So now let's go back to fixing this window. So this is the window we have. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of it. Okay. So to do that, we are going to click Shift D and then X. And that's going to move a copy to the side. I'm going to turn off snapping because otherwise it's going to do funky stuff. All right. Now I just want to work on this one window. So I'm going to go select, or sorry, view frame selected. That means as I rotate, it's only snapping to this one window we're working with. All right. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go to edit mode. I'm going to grab my face selector. I'm going to click on this back face and I'm going to hit X to delete the face. Okay, good. I deleted that back face. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, in edit mode, click on one of the inside window planes, hold down Shift and click on the other 3 planes. So I have all 4 windows inside selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, back to our material selection. So I'm in the material panel and I'm going to go add material slot. And I'm going to grab our glass. And then I'm going to hit assign. And what that did is it assigned that glass material to those 4 faces that I grabbed. Right? Now the back side of this is kind of like ugly looking. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mirror this window, meaning it's going to be the same on both axes. So I'm going to click on my window and I'm going to go to my modifiers and I'm going to add search a mirror modifier. All right. And I want this to mirror on the x-axis. Or actually, maybe it's the y. Oh, it's the y-axis. That's what I want. There we go. So I clicked y-axis, and you see now the front and the back look the same. See that? Y-axis, and then I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to click apply. So now I have a beautiful glass window that you can actually see through. All right. Awesome. Okay. Now this is all good, but the problem is when I go to kind of put my window where I want on my house, well, there's no holes in the walls. So how am I supposed to look into my house? Okay. So what we're going to do now is click off this window that's done, that's made. I'm going to click back on the window we copied. And I am going to go into edit mode and I'm going to grab the back face. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right click, separate selection. Okay. So what that's done when I go to object mode and click off is it's now made it so that this back face, I'm going to hit G, Y to move it, is separate. It's its own thing. Okay. So I'm going to turn this into a box. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm making it a box that I can use to cut walls into the house. So I'm going to click my y-axis and then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click the toggle X-ray mode. I'm going to click that. Whoop. All right. So I'm in my shader mode, which means it turns, or solid mode. Sorry, it's solid mode. So that turns off the colors and I've turned on X-ray because what I want to do is click on this just flat face and I'm going to scale it a little bit smaller. I'm going to hit S and I just want to shrink it so that it's a little bit smaller than our window. You can kind of see the dark outline of the window. That's good. Okay. Now I can turn off X-ray mode. I'm going to grab this face and I'm going to go to edit mode and I'm going to extrude it by hitting E. And I want to make sure it's extruding only on the y-axis. And I'm just going to make it thick like this. Awesome. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn back shader mode on just because I think, or sorry, is that the shader mode? Yes, it is shading mode. I'm going to now place this box like a cookie cutter, basically, where I want it to cut. And I'm going to make copies of this box by going Shift D, and that'll make copies of it. And I can move it on the x-axis. But now I'm just going to go and I'm going to copy this and place it kind of in the sections of the wall where I want to make a hole for a window. All right. And I'm going to pause the part of the video here, and I'll resume where I have this boxes back where, back in the places on the house that I want them to be. All right, so I have all of those little boxes placed where I want it to make a cut hole for a window. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on each of these boxes. I'm going to hold down Shift as I do so, because I want to grab them all. Holding down Shift. So I have all my boxes for my windows. And now I'm going to right click and I'm going to go Join. And what that means is it's going to treat it all as one object. Okay. So now to actually cut the holes, I'm going to click on my house. So I've got my house base selected and I'm going to add a modifier called Boolean. And I'm going to make sure it's on difference, exact. And I'm going to click this little eyedropper tool and just click one of my little cut boxes. All right. Once I did that, you might see a little orange kind of highlight showing that it has actually cut holes in the house. But to actually make it happen, I need to go over to the modifier, click the down arrow and click apply. All righty. So now I should be able to click on one of my boxes, hit G and move them all away. And you'll see, woohoo, I got all these little holes in my house now. All right. So I'm going to get these boxes out of the way for a second. And now what I can do is I can take my window here, which let me label, I'm going to call this main window. All right, I'm going to click these other windows. I don't need them, so I'm going to delete them. Delete. I'm going to delete well, maybe I'll keep the cut boxes in case. But now what I can do is grab this window and I like to hit my y-axis because then what it does is it shows us kind of a straight on Y view. And I'm going to grab this window and place it over one of the holes. So I'm going to hit G, Z just to move it. And then G, X, right? And then I'm going to have to hit G, Y to shift it back. All right, G, Y, and then place it. Perfect. And now look at that. That's so cute. I've got a little tiny window in there. So I'm going to just make a copy of this now by going Shift D, X, click to the side. That makes a copy. And this copy I need to put over these two holes. So I need to rotate it. So I'm going to hit R, Z to rotate on the Z axis. And I'm just going to kind of spin it for a second and click, because I can just come down here to this rotate bar and I can change it to be -90, which is going to split it kind of the angle I want. See, there we go. And now I can move that. I'm going to click the -Z axis. Oh, I guess that's not very helpful because I can't see the holes. But this is just the game of kind of moving them and placing them now. All right. Hide meeting controls. So let me see, maybe if I go, here we go, this might be helpful. Yeah. So I just clicked the wireframe view, and that's going to help me when I'm placing these windows a little bit more. GY, GZ. I'm going to make a copy of this guy. So I'm going to hit Shift D, Y to make a copy on the Y axis and just scooch him over there. Good. And now I can hold down Shift and click both of these and hit GX to move these back and place them inside the house. Now I'm going to click back to my shader view to see. I think I pushed them in a little too much. Ooh. There you go. All right, so now it's just the game of adding all your windows. All right, but now you can actually look inside your house, which is super fun. So go ahead. All this is cutting holes in your house by making thickness to your house first, and then using Boolean, and then adding our different windows. So good luck.